An inquest in Brisbane has heard an Iranian asylum seeker who set himself on fire on Nauru in 2016 wanted to live. The Queensland coroner has begun looking into the circumstances surrounding the death of Omid Masoumali, including why it took him more than a day to receive medical care. A warning some viewers may find the following footage distressing.
Omid Masoumali was just 24 years old when he doused himself in petrol and set his clothes on fire in front of UN officials in Nauru. It took more than 24 hours to get him to Australia for medical treatment. He later died from his horrific injuries. An inquest is investigating what led to Mr Masoumali's tragic actions and the medical care provided to him.
Nothing can change the past and nothing can bring Omid back. But lessons can be learnt.
His widow was the first to give evidence before the Queensland Coroner's Court by phone from an undisclosed location. She was referred to only as Pari for legal reasons. Through a translator, she said her husband set himself on fire because she'd got into a heated argument with officials over their living conditions. At the time, she and Mr Masoumali were no longer living in detention, but as refugees in the Nauru community. But she told the court they still felt like prisoners and were demanding to know when they'd be able to leave. She told the court Mr Masoumali became shocked, distressed and upset by her conflict, but she knew he didn't want to die, telling the court that at the local hospital he was yelling and screaming, I'm burnt, and he was waiting for treatment. Pari painted a miserable picture about what life was like for them in the detention centre, from poor living conditions to limited access to water, communications with family and medical services, all which she said led to self-harm becoming a regular thought for many asylum seekers on the island. Yet she said her husband had always remained optimistic. Around a dozen protesters held a vigil for Mr Masoumali outside the court this morning as debate continues over the new medical evacuation laws.
The bottom line for this inquest is that immigration detention in offshore detention centres kills people.
Omid's death did not occur in isolation. There are 12 other deaths on Nauru and Manus.
The inquest is expected to run for the rest of the week. Melanie Vujkovic, ABC News, Brisbane.